Good evening. My name is Douglas Harper, and I'm here today to talk about Stitch. This is my first webcam video, so bear with me here. But I'm going to tell a little bit about me and how I got started with Stitch, standing together in tolerance, changing humanity. www.sewingdiversitytogether.com. Back when I was 13 or 14, I tried to commit suicide by taking a whole bottle of pills. And I didn't do that just because I was gay. And a lot of people believe that's why I did it. But it's not. It's part of the reason. But I don't believe that there's any one reason why somebody commits suicide or attempts it. I think that it's like a combination of many different things. My mom was always sick from the time I was really little. And she had a disease called Guillain-Barré. It's spelled like Guillain-Barré syndrome. And what it does is it attacks all the nerves and muscles. And my mom had one of the worst cases that they ever saw. And she was always tripping and falling and burning things and cutting herself and dropping things on the floor. And it just, I don't know, we struggled. And I spent most of my childhood going in and out of the hospital to see her because she was always sick. But she ended up going into a coma when I was like in 7th grade. And she had to be moved down to Indianapolis to another hospital by helicopter, and I wasn't allowed to go. And my grandma and my mom went, and we were all living together, my grandma, my mom, my grandpa, and I. But while I was home, my grandpa had a stroke, and he couldn't talk. He was sitting on the couch, and he was unresponsive, and I didn't know what was going on. And my grandma called, and she found out what was going on, and she told me to call 911. It turned out that he had a stroke, and so I was taking care of him. And then about 6 or 7 months later, my mom woke up out of the coma, or not months, I'm sorry, about weeks later, and she said, "I'm hungry," and my grandma was so thrilled, and my mom woke up, but we couldn't bring her home because she had drop foot, which is the stretching of tendons from laying for so long. She had to learn how to talk and walk and move her hands and everything all over again. And then my grandma and I had to take training for when she did come home to lift her out of the wheelchair and how to feed her and care for her and bathe her and help her go to the bathroom. And of course this was my mom, and I was like 12. But with all of that, my grandpa and my being gay, I was just struggling. I didn't want to tell my family that I was gay. I didn't want to embarrass them or put any other kind of conflict onto them. So I was really struggling with that fact. And I just chose to try to commit suicide instead of telling them the truth. But I made a decision the next day when I didn't die. I woke up in bed, I had a huge stomachache, a headache, I could barely breathe. I tried to get out of bed and I collapsed to the floor. I crawled over and I knocked on the door, pounded on it, and my mom came. And next thing I know, I was in the hospital. And we told everybody that I had an asthma attack. Because my family thought that other people would look bad about me and about our family if they knew what I tried to do. They were scared. And so instead of telling the truth, we came up with a lie. And we kept that lie going until my grandma passed away. And my mom passed away on October 29th, 2004. I was 20. My stepfather died 6 weeks later on December 14th. And then my grandpa passed away from cancer in 2003. My great aunt, who lived right next door to us, passed away from cancer. And we had hospice, and my grandma and I were the caregivers for both of them. And my grandpa, I was in the room when he passed away, and I ended up having to help clean him up and help carry his body down the stairs in a body bag. And my aunt, she had lit her hair on fire the weekend she died. We had a huge oil trucker blow up and knock out all the power while she was on oxygen, so we struggled with that. And then next morning, she had turned herself sideways in the bed so that her head was hanging over and she was gasping for breath and calling her mom. My grandma comes and she screams, "Douglas! Douglas, you need to get over here now!" So I went running and I had to look and I stopped and I'm watching the scene and I was just like, this cannot be happening. And so we buttered my aunt's head up, and it sounds comical now, but then it really wasn't. It was probably one of the most horrific things I've ever seen in my life. And then the next day she was gone, and all of our family was there. And then in December of 2007, I came home from bowling in the morning, and I found my grandma in the hallway. She was gone. She died of pneumonia. And so I'm an only child, and it's just me. And through all of this, I have already been planning on creating a website to help other people out, and a book, and I wanted to do something to help other people and let them know it's okay to be gay. And not just educating gay people, but straight supporters as well, because straight supporters are the most important, most influential. The majority is the most influential in any given movement. Like in the Black Rights Movement, it was white males that was the most influential. In the women movement, it was their husbands that were the most influential. Well, in the gay movement, it's our straight supporters. And so educating our society on what's going on and the dangers and things that we say hurting our youth. And youth is determined at 24 and below. But things that we say are actually hurting those people. And I'm here to tell you that until you lose your family, until you lose the people around you, you don't understand. I've been attacked with, it's a choice. Being gay is a choice. Da 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 da. On and on and on. And the truth is I've always wanted to have a family. I've always wanted to have kids. I loved my family so much. And they're gone. And I can't get married. I don't have anybody in my life. I'm not stable enough to have kids. And I wonder to myself, will I ever have a family? Will I ever have what other people take for granted? I'm an only child. And my friends have become my family. But eventually, my friends are going to get married themselves, move on with their own lives. And that's a scary thing because, in a way, I feel like I'm going to be left behind because of my sexuality. So why would I choose something like that? Anyway, I got off the subject here. Those are some of the reasons why I've created Stitch. Stitch is about helping other people, coming to terms with one's own sexuality, helping people come out, giving them other options, giving them information on what to do. And my family passing was able to propel me further in doing what I'm doing. Because at that point, I had to make a decision. What am I going to do with my life? What do I want for me? Do I want to be a person that just goes into a job that I'm not happy with, where I could be fired because there are no laws for being gay? That they could say, oh, we're sorry, we don't like gay people. Here you go, boot out the door. I don't want that. I want to create something to help people. I want to create my own thing. I want to write, and I want to be my own boss. So that's exactly what I'm doing. And we can do anything that we want to do, and I'm going to get onto that later. But that's what I created Stitch for. And this is just a little bit about me and why I'm passionate about what I do, because it's so important for me to make people realize that what we have in life is so good. Gay people are able to walk down the streets today because of what other people did. We're able to be out. We're able to have a movie on YouTube talking like this and not have somebody come knocking on my door and writing about me in the newspaper like in the 1940s and 1950s. And so we have a right to be happy, but we still don't have all of our rights. we still don't have all of our freedoms and equality. We're still seen as second-class citizens. And so, this is my first movie, www.sewingdiversitytogether.com. Thank you.